On this week's episode of The Video Store, Frank dives under the Silver Lake, Josh gets stuck in the hard rain, and finally we fucking melt. It's so goddamn hot. It's so hot, Frank.
We both record these episodes in our underwear with our air conditioners turned off, sacrificing for art. Welcome. Hey, it's the Video Store podcast. Most of the time, almost weekly, we review movies and TV shows and other things we've watched, as well as look ahead at what's streaming on demand, out for rental, and in theaters. My name's Frank. I still host this podcast.
And I still sometimes show up and co-host it. This is Josh. Hey.
Yeah, welcome to our summer hours. It's been a couple weeks. There's been all kinds of reasons why. There's our laziness. Look, we're not gonna sit here and combined with things. Personal, things, and stuff happens. We didn't get to go on vacation. You're listening to this. You're probably got a nice tan. Probably been to the beach. Not me.
Nope, you are white as fuck.
Mm-hmm. White as fuck. But let's start the podcast with how I believe it's been a while, but I think we started with thoughts and trailers.
Trailers and thoughts.
Yeah. There's a lot of them. This is what happens when you take a week off in
7
podcasting.
years, Frank, to be exact.
So we won't linger on too much unless we really have opinions about these things. I'm super excited for Knives Out. This is the first Rian Johnson movie since The Last Jedi, written and directed by Rian Johnson. It's about a detective that investigates the death of a patriarch of an eccentric, combative family. Did you see this trailer?
I did, and nothing has excited me or gotten me harder.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Rian Johnson.
Everything about this just looks fucking... This is the first one where I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to watch a damn thing more. Just give me that fucking movie.
I watched I was in theaters for whatever, and I saw the first minute of it, and I was like, I'm going to look down. I don't want to see any more of this. I'm in. I don't need to see any more.
Why you gotta outdo me every time? You're like, I don't even need to watch the trailer. I just look down. I don't even stare at the screen anymore. It's like hipster.
Because I was stuck in the theater. I didn't want to get up and interrupt people. But yeah,
you should have done.
Go look up the cast. I mean, it's a speed round in itself. It's
fire.
Loaded cast of people you'd love. But if you like Rian Johnson, maybe don't watch the trailer and just go in knowing that it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, when's that come out, Frank?
Oh shit! I just closed that page. It's coming in August, I believe.
Got him.
Yeah, you got me. Hold on. I will...
got him.
There's better ways. November 27th, which is almost August.
Yeah, sure. That's one way of saying that.
Yeah. A movie that I surprisingly haven't heard about until the trailer just popped up a week ago, Bad Trip. This is a Jackass-style comedy about two friends that embark on a cross-country road trip where they prank people using hidden cameras. It's all... The selling point is that these are all real pranks played on people that are knowingly being pranked. And it stars Eric Andre, Lil Ray Howery, and Tiffany Haddish.
Love me some Eric Andre, Man Seeking Woman. It's a fucking great show.
Yeah, and Eric Andre is one of those guys that I know that I will dig his shit, his sense of humor, but I just haven't consumed enough of it yet. And
really? You didn't see him when he went to the rally and shit?
No, I see his memes, I see clips. I even heard him on a podcast, I believe. Yeah, I think it was, it might have been...
Oh, he's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, he's great, and I think this could be a huge breakout for people like me that aren't familiar with his work, and if you like the Jackass type stuff, it's cool to see someone very talented that's not Johnny Knoxville give us a shot.
Right. That's fair. It's been a while since we've seen some reality movies.
Yeah, and I love Tiffany Haddish. I love Lil Ray Howery. It's a good cast, and I'm excited for that one. It's going to be out in October.
Nice.
A trailer that I didn't see is the Jumanji Next Level. This is a December release. It's reunites the cast of the sequel Jumanji, whatever that was called, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle. Mm-hmm. You have Karen Gillan, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black. And there's addition. I think Danny DeVito and Danny Glover are two of the people that go in the game now. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, it's a shit show of events, Brink. Let's just... Man, what have they done to our poor beloved childhood? Oh, Jumanji was amazing all by itself. And they've taken these concepts and just turd them down the old turd toilet.
Were you a fan of Welcome to the Jungle?
Fuck no.
Yeah, Jumanji, as I want to call it. Yeah, it was pretty lame to me. I thought it was cookie cutter, like bad dad jokes, and I really was disappointed in the island being like almost uninhabited by animals. There was like not as wild as it could have been. Very tame.
Yeah, and for as much CGI as they use, still get that effect. But just in general, man, it's probably another kid's adventure. You know, who knows? Maybe some kids would like this storyline. Jack Black's pretty funny, but meh, not for me.
Yep. And while we're caught in this vicious cycle of Disney live-action reimaginations of their animated classics, with Lion King out now, by the time you're listening to this, Mulan teaser trailer has dropped. So I know this one's kind of like, I heard fans of the original Mulan are kind of say this is controversial because there's not going to be any songs in this one. It looks like more of a straight up action movie.
What kind of son of a bitch? I don't really care.
Okay, so you don't care about this one at all?
No, not really.
That's fine. I can't say I watched part of Jungle Book. I'm going to check out Lion King, but haven't really been that intrigued by these so far. These Disney live action movies.
Yeah, pretty weak sauce. I think just focus on the Star Wars guys.
Yeah, focus on the fact that you have Star Wars and all the Marvel movies. Yeah, right. Stop being greedy. This one just dropped today, so hey, we got some new stuff to talk about. Top Gun Maverick. This thing's been rumored forever. I kind of forgot they were doing it. In addition to Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer reprising their roles as Maverick and Iceman, you got a Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Ed Harris, Miles Teller. And I think they're good choices. I see them fitting into this Top Gun kind of world. This one is subtitled Top Gun Maverick, and the plot is unknown. Did you get a chance to check out the 2-minute trailer?
I fucking did. And you know what? It brings my excitement back for a movie that has this live action airplane battles and things that I feel have turned so CGI at this point. You can tell that they are really flying around in fucking planes doing some of this shit, whether or not there's someone else flying the plane and anything like that. But you can tell that it is much more of a real feel for what it may be like to be a fighter pilot. So for that, I think it looks very vivid and exciting. Yeah,
Tom Cruise, love him or hate him, is a maniac, and that's why I loved Mission Impossible. The most recent one.
Yeah, you were all rock hard for that.
Yeah, God, I wish it's so bad that I don't remember that. I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
It was one of my favorites.
There's so many subtitles to those. But yeah, this movie doesn't need to exist, but I think, like you said, it's going to stand out because it's Mission Impossible Fallout, by the way, which was the great action movie for the very same reasons that you are excited about this trailer. Like Tom Cruise puts himself out there, like he broke the fuck out of his leg and suspended the shooting of that last Mission Impossible movie for that reason. So, you know.
What?
I'm like lukewarm on that.
Okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
Thought like I lost you.
No, I'm still here, baby. Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
And then you came back.
Yeah. A big part, I think, of our childhoods is Kevin Smith and his movie. Maybe our adolescence.
He's still a part of our lives to this day. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, he was very influential on, like, you know, me getting into movies and podcasts. You know, podcasting. He's been around my hobbies and interests for a long time. And
yeah, the best Smodcast ever.
Yeah, and he also is very good at being self-deprecating, and, you know, he makes fun of himself with precision. And the trailer for Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is no exception. Did you see how they're rolling this one out? I don't know if it's exclusively that way, but there's a road show where Jay and Silent Bob, Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith are coming to watch the movie with you, and I assume talking about it before and after.
I think they might be doing that here.
Yeah, they're coming close to me. So if you guys are listening to this and you like Kevin Smith that much, I think they're around $50 for like a standard ticket for something like this. And he did it. I think Yoga Hosers, that was the only way you could see it in theaters. I assume Jay and Silent Bob will get a little bit more of a release just from that name recognition. Yeah. And all the co-stars in this.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, I'm in, man. I mean, I'm down with Kevin Smith until he gives me a reason to tap out.
Yeah, no, forever. Always been a fan. Will continue to be a fan. This is a guy that's just down to earth, capable, humorous, and just really intelligent, and everything that we like as people and directors that make some of our favorite things. So, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I want to see Clerks 3. I want to see Mallrats 2. I like the living universe where, all the directors I like get to make as much as they want. And hopefully this is like, a rebirth of, more Kevin Smith. I am kind of disappointed, though, because I'm a fan of Tusk, even Yoga Hosers, and, all the other stuff he's done that wasn't in that View-esque universe level.
Yeah.
So,
Tusk was fucking hilarious and ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was great. What was the other? Red State?
Red State,
yes,
yeah, also really great.
I still own both of those because they're really hard to find if you want to watch them digitally, but and also just good movies on their own.
All right, Frank. Well, now that we've talked about all these teasers, what do you think we should do?
This is the part of the podcast, Josh, where we give our little reviews and suggestions and sometimes cautionary tales of how we watch something that you shouldn't watch.
Tales of woe. Yeah,
it's called What We Watched, and we put movies in 3 easy to understand categories. We either tell you don't do it, take it or leave it, where it's something we like, but with some qualifiers, loving the sound effects, or it's an employee pick where we recommend it and think you should watch it, regardless if you're a fan of the genre, actor, or whatever. We just think it's great. A couple rewatches in here. I watched Zombieland because I'm preparing for Double Tap, which is coming out later this year, which is the sequel to this movie.
Fuck nuts, yes.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I think I've watched it maybe once since it came out in 2009. It's been 10 years, and I felt like we were going to get Zombieland 2 a lot sooner than this.
I would agree.
But it's okay. This is directed by Ruben Fleischer, who's got all the action movie cred, starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, and up-and-coming Emma Stone and Abigail Breslin at the time. And, some nice cameos by Amber Heard and Bill Murray. I think it still holds up, man. I think it's a great blend of action and horror and comedy that a lot of movies try to be, and we'll talk about one at least coming up soon. But very few mix those things as well as this movie. It's just fun, man. Like, I love these are likable actors playing good roles in a story that I care about. That's like great pacing, great gore. It just hits all the check marks for an entertaining movie.
Everything for a popcorn flick on a Saturday night that you wanted to go out and see. I totally agree. And it never hurts to sprinkle Bill Murray on top.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an easy watch. You're looking for something entertaining. It's like around 90 minutes. Can't go wrong. It's on Netflix and a bunch of other places. Not an easy watch and not something I was familiar with, but I'm pretty sure you've checked this one out.
I did.
Train to Busan has been on my list for quite some time, and it was just I was finally in the mood for it. There's a lot of movies that I think we all have on our list that we know is going to be good and we're going to love. You just got to be in the mood for it, and I'm glad I finally checked this one out. The plot of this movie is when a zombie virus breaks out in South Korea, passengers struggle to survive on a train from Seoul to Busan.
Yeah.
So this on the surface has just a lot of zombie cliches, but they go and play into them and then have their own little spin on things. And the element of being stuck in this train, and it reminded me of Snowpiercer, where you kind of have a class system going on and rivalries build up. It's a really good look at the human condition and how people would react, what kind of things they would do. And it pulls these stories out of these characters that you might not really give a shit or might not even like at first, and humanizes them and pulls heroes out of places you weren't expecting. And I thought it was a really good drama. Very well acted. Just a really just good all around movie. Just you could tell this director San Ho Young is just like a fan of this kind of film and was able to put his own like fingerprints on something, a genre, a mixing of genres that we're familiar with, you know, like people trapped on a train with a killer or killers and a zombie movie, and made it something fresh, man, and really interesting. So it's an employee pick for me. And something I think people should hopefully get out of their comfort zone every once in a while, just because it's subtitled.
And honestly, I don't think it's that hard of a watch because it's very visually stunning.
Yeah, it is. It's visually stunning, and just the way it's shot, it's always interesting. It's shot really well and really well paced, which is good for like an action drama. Just all around, man. I thought it was just really well made. Can't say enough good things about it, and something I think if you give it a chance, you might like it. And
it was like what World War Z could have been.
Yeah, I didn't even watch World War Z. No interest.
Yeah, but the zombies were like that. But
how they piled up and like kind of like became like a almost like a
fucking
force of nature.
Right.
Like a zombie piles.
Yeah, fuck yeah, the zombie piles. Boom, Frank. Guess what?
What's up?
Christian Slater.
Oh, I miss Christian Slater. Well, he's in Mr. Robot, which is great. He's still got it. I like him.
Yeah, I do like me some Slater, and I decided to have myself a little bit of a throwback. I went back and watched a movie called Hard Rain. Have you seen this movie?
I have, but I do not really remember it very well. I remember liking it. It was like one of my mom's favorite movies.
See, that's the tagline. Hard Rain, your mom's favorite movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is about an armored truck driver tries to prevent $3 million from being taken by a local rival gang during a catastrophic flooding caused by a severe storm to this local town. So it's very interesting in the dynamic change where you usually have your good guys and your bad guys, and they're purely identified. That is not the case here. Bad guys turn into good guys turn into bad guys, and as a child, this was like mind-blowing to me. I was like, how the fuck is Randy Quaid evil now? How is he evil? And Morgan Freeman playing the leader of this gang that's trying to take the money, and it's just an interesting dynamic. It is your classic throwback 90s action, true romance style, fucking just good classic popcorn flick, man. Nothing wrong with this. Morgan Freeman still at his best, kicking butt and taking names and wearing a sweet fucking hat. Christian Slater palping around this fucking rainy ass town, and the flooding shit's happening everywhere. It's a good time. It's a good time. Go watch Hard Rain with your mom.
Yeah, or someone else's mom.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's fair.
Watch it with a mom. Is what I'm trying to say.
The mom.
Okay, I believe you touched on this last episode, or maybe the one before.
I touched it.
I got a chance to check out Child's Play, the 2019 version, in theaters before it left, fortunately. And this one's described as, obviously there's a tagline, more than a toy, he's your best friend. Karen, a single mother, played by Aubrey Plaza, gifts her son Andy a Buddy doll, Buddi, for his birthday, unaware of its more sinister nature and contemporary reimagining of the 1988 horror classic. You got Mark Hamill voicing Chucky, who's more of like a walking, talking Alexa type device. Yeah. So I thought that was a pretty smart move. It feels very much Black Mirror by way of slasher. Yeah. So I thought it was okay. It was just okay. If you're a fan of trashy horror movies or Child's Play, I don't think you'll be offended by what they did with the reimagining of this one. I wish they would have got more out of Aubrey Plaza's character. She's kind of like, two-dimensional, as is Brian Tyree Henry. And they're people that I really like. And they were the two of the reasons and the main reasons I was excited for this movie.
What'd you think about Andy, though?
I thought he was good. Gabriel Bateman, I could see him being in some stuff. He's got some acting chops. I really bought his relationship with the doll and how he's this kid who's, doesn't have a dad and he's having trouble relating to anyone. So it was believable that this defective doll that he realizes is dangerous, but he has this connection with this device. It's like how many kids have connections with, online communities or video games. Like it becomes kind of a dangerous obsession and a harmful thing, but he kind of loves Chucky for a while, and that was very interesting. I felt like the tone was kind of strange in the movie throughout, if that makes sense. Like, it wasn't really scary ever to me. It was more of just like a dark comedy and sad at times with the boy and Chucky stuff. And then the slashing stuff was kind of played to humor almost.
Agreed, but I think they got places that they can go with this.
Yeah, it was a social satire, which I thought was interesting. And I wouldn't mind watching another, a sequel or something like that. I don't think it made a lot of money, but I think if you're a fan of horror movies and if you have interest in Child's Play, like what this is, I think you'll enjoy it. But it's not it's not great, it's not terrible.
That's fair. Okay, I thought it was a decent take on it. I don't know. I liked it probably a little bit more than you did.
It is like a 3 out of 5 for me. I consider it pretty good.
I'm going to give it a 3.5 just to say I am correct that I liked it a little bit more than you did.
Okay. On 4th of July, I did celebrate a national pastime by watching a good old-fashioned American shark movie.
Okay.
47 meters down. I had some interest in it. There's some hype about this movie when it came out in 2017. I'm a fan of Mandy Moore. She's not the greatest actor, but I like her. So at some point, I was interested in this movie and kind of just forgot about it. It's about two sisters who are vacationing in Mexico, and they're trapped in a shark cage at the bottom of the ocean. Guess how many meters that shark cage goes?
I'm going to say 38, Frank.
Somewhere in between 46 and 48 meters. They have less than an hour to survive. Because the oxygen's running out and great white sharks are circling nearby, they must fight to survive. This movie had moments, but overall it was very anticlimactic, not very dramatic. Didn't really do anything with direction to create tension. Like, no good music, no good shots even. It was just very milquetoast, which is weird for like a shark movie. But I never really sensed the danger. I mean, you would see the cage would be opening. Oh, they lost a vital piece of equipment and a shark's coming. But there was like no pulse to this movie. So it's not even like bad in a way like Sharknado is or like the Piranha movies.
It just exists.
Yeah, it's just like a bad drama set in a shark attack scenario.
Meh. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I'm even yawning, excuse me, as I'm discussing it. So yeah, it's a don't do it for me. I can't recommend this movie. Disappointing. I actually watched Jaws later on to cleanse my palate for shark movies, but don't watch this one.
Okay, good to know. Never did. Didn't plan on it. So I'm still on that boat.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The next two we've both seen?
Correct.
Awesome. Three. Okay, cool. So let's talk about Stranger Things Season 3. This debuted on the 4th of July. Before we get into this season, a little bit of context. What did you think of Season 1, Season 2, the show overall? Like, what were your expectations coming into this?
No expectations, Frank. Just seeing some characters that I enjoyed go on another adventure.
Okay, so you were a fan of the first two seasons. Okay.
No problems with it. Always enjoy some good throwbacks. And I think it's shot very well. The stories are told very fun and kind of a like a PG-13 Goonies in a way. So I really don't have any problems with it. I think the funniest thing is just like, oh, fucking, she gonna go crazy again. She's gonna go fucking crazy.
Yeah. I was a really big fan of Season 2. I like Season 1 a lot, too. I know a lot of people were down on Season 2. I think I liked it even a little bit better. I
have no problems with any of these seasons. I think they all had their own standalone stories, and that was some of the fun for me is I like the 3 or 4 different stories happening that intertwine to one larger product. You know what you're getting, and you're going to get a little bit of mystery. Some of the reveal has gone. Like, if you haven't, the first season I think would be the most surprising because it's something fresh and you haven't seen. But, they're not going to go out of character and really develop things that are completely off of what they've been doing. They're going to build stories around those same characters, building their relationships and furthering their adventures. If you don't like the initial Stranger Things or anything moving forward, you're not going to like this. I don't know. Is there a lot of hate or something? I don't know.
I mean, there's always it's a popular thing. So yeah, I mean that's kind of how things work. This season, I thought focused more on the relationships. It takes place in the summer. Didn't really end in Christmas time like the first two seasons did.
Well, they always do a different holiday. Actually, it was the Halloween was the first one or second one?
I thought they both ended at Christmas, but I mean, I didn't really watch them.
No, okay. One of them is Halloween for sure. The second one's Halloween because they dress up as the Ghostbusters.
It starts at they start in the fall typically, and they end in the winter. Like Christmas is kind of like the finish line. You want to get to Christmas in the first two.
I felt like it was the first one was Christmas, this one was Halloween, this one was Independence Day.
No,
that's
wrong.
what it felt like.
Season 2 ends with the winter dance thing, like the big dance before winter break.
Yeah, but nobody gave a fuck. It was like more of an afterthought.
Okay. Anyways, so this one definitely focuses more on like the boys are all either getting girlfriends or interested in girls, except for Will. And then you have the Joyce, Jim, Hopper, contentious relationship there. So
Jim and Pam.
Yeah, and then you have like the Russian stuff, which I don't know. I mean, we're dealing with Russians.
Where the fuck did the Russians come from?
I get it's like an 80s trope. There was the Red Scare stuff. So, and they had to like rebuild the whole idea of an evil government because, they got dismantled in season 2, the United States version of that. So I thought some of it was okay. I enjoyed the season. I thought it was pretty good, but there's definitely some downshifts. And my favorite part for sure was like the Steve, Dustin, and I forget the new girl's name. Shit.
Yeah.
But like that, the Steve and Dustin stuff to me has become like the highlight of the show. Like every time they went back to those guys, like when they teamed back up together, I just felt like I was more interested in the show.
Well, they were more in an adventure and spy type situation where the others were in that romantic stuff that just seemed to kind of prolong the situation. But I guess this is what we had to come to expect. They're growing children. They're still wearing the same clothes from season 1 with the same haircuts, but except for 11. But man, their clothes are so weird sometimes. And this is not like an 80s thing. This is like, homeboy, your shit is way too short.
That really bothered you?
It did. I was like, man, you need to cut your hair and stop looking like that. That'll help a lot. I don't know how much the hairstyle was still relevant.
Whose hair are we talking about?
Like half of those dudes, mainly fucking the main two boys.
Mike and Will.
Yeah,
they got the really bad bowl haircuts. Yeah, yes. I like how Lucas has become like the relationship expert because he's a little bit more of a. He was, him and Max's relationship was more cooperative. Where
they were both down.
Yeah, exactly. And
11 has no clue, and she's all learning all this shit.
And I did enjoy 11 stuff a lot too. And the Hopper trying to be a dad thing was fun as well. But yeah, really, dude, every time it got back to Steve, Dustin, and Robin, played by Maya Hawke, in I think her first role. She's the daughter of Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke.
Fire.
I just enjoy. I wanted to just watch that show. I thought they were great.
I would agree. I really enjoyed the mall angle, and their little spy adventures were quite fun, and especially with what was it?
Priya. Are you talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
little ice
the actress is
sister.
Priya Ferguson. She plays Erica, who is Lucas's sister.
Yeah, she's fucking. And what's great is she stuck around for all 3 seasons, and they can replace some kids. So, and I think she's a little irreplaceable. Hilarious, has really good, just really firm attitude for a kid that age, just to be able to really crush that. I think she'll be funny for a while. 10 years, man. Next Tiffany Haddish. We'll see.
Hopefully. Yeah, I thought she was really great, too. And I think she grew up a little bit, so I didn't recognize who she was at first in context of the show. And then, there actually was a scene, a line of dialogue, where they, remind the audience that it's Lucas's little sister. But yeah, the Nancy and Jonathan stuff, which I thought was, a really strong part of season 2, her falling for him and them connecting on that level. Didn't really care too much about their
ongoing bickering.
Yeah, didn't really. And then even the Jim Joyce
You're
stuff.
Wrong, Nancy. You're wrong.
Jim Hopper and Joyce Byers are like two of the biggest characters in the show, and like glue together the adult portion of it for sure. But it's like they're just going through the motions. So I wasn't even a huge fan of that. I was all about the Steve Dustin stuff, and it was a different type of show this year. It was more of a Goonies, like you said, fantasy show, a lot less gore, a lot less sci-fi. You didn't see there wasn't a lot of fight scenes.
Now, also, I didn't mind that storyline surrounding Billy either. I really enjoyed watching, his evil, his arc. I think that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was a cool subplot. I think they would have been better served to do a lot of that stuff as one-offs, at least in the beginning. I didn't think the subplots meshed together well either, where it just felt like really discombobulating, like going from one story to another.
Yeah, that's some of them.
Yeah, like if you did the like the older brother. God, I'm so bad at these names right now because I watched the show 2 weeks ago.
The older brother. I know, dude. There's too many names.
Yeah, there's too many characters.
There's too many fucking
Max's
characters.
older brother who becomes bad. He becomes like the evil guy.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy. Yeah, just do a whole episode of Billy and tell me what's going on with him, and then maybe wrap around a couple of things with the kids in that. Like Walking Dead did this really well. It's like a comic book. You'd have your one-off.
Yeah, but that's not their style in this. Theirs has been very standard to say that we're going to share multiple adventures in one episode, and it's not going to follow that Walking Dead occasional, character statement episode that they'll have, and I'm okay with that. It's not the worst thing in the world, but I'd rather see more of this than a lot of garbage that's put out. So keep the things stranger. Maybe they seem less strange, but hey, I'm down.
Nice tagline. You can get a job. You get a job for Entertainment Weekly with that kind of bullshit.
Hey.
But yeah, I mean, I guess you give Duffer Brothers credit. They stepped out of their comfort zone, and this was not the horror sci-fi, celebration that it normally is. And I do think when they all come together in the final moments, the final episode and a half, it worked. It's a common theme and a common thing you do in sequels is you break everyone up and you find a way to bring them back together, and you hope the chemistry works in these new groups that you've created, and the show doesn't suffer when you take something like the chemistry of Mike and Eleven, all the etc. All the people you break up, like that was a strength of the show, and I think it did hurt it a little bit. But no, it's not a travesty. The people shouldn't be in an uproar like they were at Game of Thrones or anything. But
fuck you, Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
fuck you.
I'm not upset about that one either. But yeah, man, this one's pretty good. Obviously, if you've seen the first two, you're probably going to check this one out. But if you haven't seen it yet for some reason, hopefully we tempered your expectations and give you an idea of what to look forward to so you can enjoy it a little more than maybe I did first time around.
Frank's word of the day, tempered.
That's okay. Spider-Man Far From Home is the latest Marvel movie. And something Josh and I both watched. I really like Tom Holland as Spider-Man. As most of you listening at this point know, I'm hit or miss with the Marvel movies. I don't worship them. I'm very critical a lot of them. But I'm still excited for this one.
Okay.
I think interesting thing about this one, in my opinion, this is a MCU movie first, a Peter Parker movie second, and then third a Spider-Man movie. If we're talking about
fourth, a Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah, maybe even third a Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Could have been.
I have a feeling we're going to feel the same way about this movie. But you would agree, right? If we're talking about tempering expectations, don't expect a lot of web slinging in this suit in this one.
That is fair to say. He's in foreign territory. He's trying to not be Spider-Man, and he's doing his best job of that, doing that. So, lukewarm, decent flick. Love Jake Gyllenhaal. I think they almost toned him down a bit too much. I think they should have just been like, Jake, go get after it, and let him do what he does. And I think I hate when they temper down actors that have a better range to be more villainous and evil and things like that. So,
see, I like this a little more than you. So I thought, like, it's funny. It's very much like Stranger Things. It's a lot about there's relationship building there. They try to kick up this MJ thing, which, from what I remember, in Homecoming, there wasn't really any table setting for this moment at all. But I did think it was fun. I thought it was cute. I am completely exhausted with MCU movies, though, at this point.
Right.
Like, I enjoyed this, but I'm just like, Matt Singer, who's a critic that I really like, compared it to having a 20-course meal, and then you have this dessert, and you shouldn't have it, and it's good, but you're completely stuffed at this point. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was great. I thought he carried the movie to another level, and the movie doesn't really get started until you realize what his role is, and we don't want to spoil that whatsoever. But I thought his level of acting was rare air for these movies. They kind of did let him do his own thing. I thought he really stood out in a way. He made the most of what they let him do.
I would not disagree with that, but when you've seen him in certain things and just seen the darkness that he can bring to a role, and they didn't want that. I get that. Mm-hmm. He's got to be a little bit lighter. He's got to be a little fluffier. He's got to be Marvel friendly enemy territory. Because when was the last time Marvel had an evil villain that really made you think that he might win?
Yeah, I think he, like Robert Downey Jr., though, his personality comes out in this character, and you get little glimmers of the madman that we love, that Jake Gyllenhaal usually plays. Not going to say there's not glimmers. Not going to say he's not awesome, and because he is. I love that guy. But I think Marvel, kind of puts him in some format of a box, is all I'm saying. Did you like that, or appreciate that, these feel like actual kids, age-appropriate Peter Parker? Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's weird. Honestly, the whole thing's weird since growing up with Tobey Maguire and this whole fucking thing, man. How many Spider-Mans, no continuity? I mean... What are you talking about? We grew up with, 4 Batmans.
But that was a standard. That just made sense to me. I don't know. It seemed like somebody took over Batman, kind of like James Bond, every 3 or 4 fucking movies. And then it started to become an every other fucking movie thing. But I don't know. Spider-Man, when you grew up with this trilogy, and the trilogy tailed off into shit, then they're like, hey, check this dude out. Oh, nah, fuck him. Oh, by the way, try this guy. I don't know. I have no problem with them being kids. Just stick to one fucking thing, though. I mean, and plus, kids get older. Eventually, that motherfucker's going to grow up. He can't be a teenager in school forever. Yeah. Tom
Holland, I think, is my favorite Spider-Man at this point, though. Sounds like you're more of a Tobey Maguire.
I just like Sam Raimi more than I like Tobey Maguire. And I feel like Spider-Man 1 and 2, fire. Third Spider-Man, biggest trash bag in the fire.
Oh, we can do the rankings at another point, but I don't like the Amazing. I think the Amazing Spider-Mans are the worst in the series.
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, I think they're the worst ones, but not really any fault of his. They just have no personality. Where
I just feel like they gave him that role after The Social Network, and they were like, "Here, you can do it."
Yeah, where these feel like an extension. Towards the end of this movie, though, I felt like it was kind of I thought we defined with Homecoming what this new Spider-Man movies were going to feel like, and then especially in the post-credit scene in this one. So if you're seeing it, now after listening to this, if you're going to watch it, stay. The credit scenes are actually very important. They're very good post-credit scenes, surprisingly. Because I know that has been exhausting, as with watching these movies overall. But I did like the more Peter Parker stuff. I thought it was a strength of the movie. It is mostly a Peter Parker movie, but the Spider-Man stuff wasn't as exciting as I got into the character. I want to know what he's going to do. Also, I hope this film rightfully launches Martin Starr's second half of his career as this lovable dad teacher type. Which is which is nice when you consider what he played in Freaks and Geeks, and now he's that guy is playing a teacher. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I would agree. They do. Who's the other guy that plays the other teacher on the
JB
trip?
Smooth. Didn't really play to his role. He just had some goofy lines. He's funnier than that. He was kind of like shoehorned into like a generic character, like a caricature.
Be the wacky teacher that doesn't understand things.
Yeah, so I'm recommending Spider-Man: Far From Home. I'll call it an employee pick. How you coming down on it?
I mean, it's Marvel. You can never be that disappointed, so I'm okay with that. I would definitely still watch it. I just, same boat, kind of waiting for something new and refreshing to come out of the Marvel situation.
Yeah, and there's a whole new phase, so if we get that, but I think Tom Holland is positioned in Spider-Man as like the new, it's the new Iron Man. He's going to be the leader of the pack.
Okay.
And those, you also watched Stuber?
I am the pack leader.
You also watched Stuber?
Yes.
Okay, I don't understand what that was that you just did.
Caesar Milan.
Okay, let's try to get past that. So Stuber is about, after crashing a car, a cop who's recovering from eye surgery, which is like a weird fucking thing they did in this movie. He recruits an Uber driver to help him catch a heroin dealer. Correction,
he kidnaps an Uber driver.
It depends on how you look at the law.
Okay.
The mismatched pair soon find themselves on a wild day of stakeouts, shootouts as they encounter the city's seedy side. There's also a very adorable pit bull in this one.
Oh,
which I appreciate. So Stuber is pretty much everything I thought. Dumb, fun, great chemistry by Camille and Bautista. I thought they squeezed all they could out of this generic script and like uninspired direction. Wasn't really anything special there. But their individual talent and like they had natural chemistry for sure. I wish they had a better movie to be in. But they made this dumb concept fun. Definitely fun enough. And I thought the supporting cast was really talented too. You just didn't really see enough of them.
Yeah, no, I would agree that the chemistry was there. I think Camille did a lot with this role, and it was just really fantastic with his delivery of a lot of dialogue. I do think Bautista could have been one of a few different, like, if this was The Rock, would we have, how would we have felt about this movie? Do you think seriously, I'm asking you.
Say that again?
If The Rock took the place of Bautista, do you think this movie would have went even better or could have gone the exact same?
I welcome Bautista, dude. I'm kind of like, and I like The Rock. I kind of like worn out on him too. He's taken all that goodwill and kind of put. Yeah, I thought like if we're in sidebar for a little bit, I thought his past couple of movies have been dull. I mean, look at Jumanji. We just talked about Jumanji.
Jumanji
like that.
Is garbage.
Rampage. And it's funny. Jumanji, Rampage, and Skyscraper all promise these wild adventures and craziness and then deliver mediocre movies that are just so tame. Like Skyscraper.
Why are you making me come to this realization?
Sorry, man. Santa Claus isn't real, and The Rock has kind of sucked for the past couple of years.
Fucking Rock. What are you doing, man?
I know. He's gotten into this comfortable spot. I hope Hobbs and Shaw like changes that because I have real high hopes for that movie.
Okay,
but all those movies were just so tame. The concept was cool and it's supposed to be. All three of those movies were kind of sold on like, look how fucking ridiculous this is, and then you watch the movie and you're like, this is cookie cutter bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I like Bautista. I think he's more interesting right now than The Rock.
His name is Dave.
Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I just wanted his name is Dave. No, the movie kind of felt kind of similar to a Cop Out to me.
I prefer it to Cop Out. I really do. That one's Cop Out. That's the worst Kevin Smith movie.
Jersey Girl.
Ooh, good point. I don't know which one.
Tracy Morgan was in Cop Out.
George Carlin is in Jersey Girl.
Yeah, but he wasn't that funny.
I don't know which one I'd watch if you made me watch one right now. Honestly don't know.
Tracy Morgan for 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, good point. But they're both awful. Like, we're comparing his definitely bottom of the barrel. We have one more review. I saw Under the Silver Lake. Been waiting to watch this movie. This is directed by David Robert Mitchell, who debuted with It Follows, one of my favorite horror movies, and I thought just like a genius movie. Total about face, like crazy follow-up. This movie is about a young and disenchanted Sam, played by Andrew Garfield. He meets a mysterious and beautiful woman who's swimming in his building's pool one night. He meets her. They have a little one-night romance, and she tells him, I'll talk to you tomorrow. She vanishes the next morning, and he embarks on a surreal quest across Los Angeles to decode the secret behind her disappearance, leading him into the murkiest depths of mystery, scandal, and conspiracy. So this is a 2.5-hour movie. I like it. It reminds me of like David Lynch, but it's like really goofy. It's like lean into all the goofiness of David Lynch without not much of the darkness. Everything else kind of turned down, and it succeeds in like mocking you, the viewer, by making fun of the movie you want it to be. Like, it's about a character who thinks there's a connection and conspiracy to everything. And some of that comes true, like kind of like a Big Lebowski, but not like a meditation, more of a just a paranoia. I don't know. It's a hard movie to describe, but like I loved it. Like it was so unique and just original concept, and just I love when things fuck with my expectations. I love when movies do that. It's also very well acted. Andrew Garfield just is great in this, and the camera work is so interesting that it keeps you going along, makes you feel like you haven't been watching something for 140 minutes, and it's just so unique. I'm not surprised. It's an A24 movie. They always put out interesting stuff. I understand. I look at like people that I follow as film critics, and it's pretty down the middle. Like half the people really love it, half the people are disappointed with it. So,
well, what are we going to do, Frank? Who's going to decide the vote?
Well, it's an employee pick for me. I want to see you watch it. I'm curious of what you'll think. But if you're like me and you just like, especially with modern movies, and especially this year, I think it's been a down year for film. I'm just like thirsting for something original and just interesting and weird. And that's exactly what Under the Silver Lake was. So I really dug it. Okay,
fair enough. Well, we did it, Frank.
Yeah.
We made it.
I hear your cat.
Oh, God, I want to kill that fucker.
We made it to the cat commercial.
Yeah.
All right. We are
sponsored by Meow Mix.
On the third and final stretch of this podcast. This is a What to Watch this week's, where we're going to catch you guys up with the July 1st through July 21st releases that we think are worth mentioning. We already talked about Netflix has released Stranger Things Season 3. Also out now is Mary Poppins Returns. I thought it was pretty good. It's worth checking out. Aziz Ansari's stand-up special right now. Have you seen this yet, Josh? Josh went away.
He did. He came back, though.
Okay. Did you see the new Aziz Ansari's stand-up?
I did not.
Okay, so that's out on Netflix right now. Also, Point Blank, directed by Joe Lynch, who has done actually a couple cool action, like what would you call them? Like just extreme action movies. I really like his Mayhem. I haven't seen Chillerama yet, but he has a movie out now called Point Blank on Netflix.
Dude, I tried to watch it. It's fucking stupid.
Okay, so let's not watch that one. And Josh loves him some Frank Grillo.
I do, and the music they would play randomly throughout the movie is so fucking weird. Like someone just took a track. There's their guy in the audio booth is like, you know what? This could use some fucking Thunderstruck right here. And just throw this shit on there, whatever it was. It was, I don't know, man. And then also, greatest part was Anthony Mackie making a reference. What, you don't play video games? Motherfucker, Anthony, we know how you play video games, son.
Oh, well.
We know.
Okay.
We know.
Black Mirror reference. And finally, I love Netflix is doing these weird like 30-minute things, and they kind of get
what do you
lost
think about this?
in the shuffle. I didn't watch it yet. I
haven't either.
Interested because I can give 30 minutes to David Harbour and this weird idea. It's called Frankenstein's Monster. Monster Frankenstein. David Harbour plays himself, and he delves into the enigmatic history of his legendary enigmatic history of his legendary acting family as he examines his father's legacy and role in a made-for-TV play. Yeah, dude, I'm all about it. I'm a big fan of David Harbour. I still want to check out Hellboy, even though I heard it was eh. And I just love that they're like, this is the kind of shit I love about Netflix. Like, no one's going to put this 30-minute thing out. It's like the Lonely Island thing. The Animea that I haven't seen yet. The Tom York, P.T. Anderson, like, fucking collaboration. Like, I like that they're doing this stuff. And I don't know why they're doing it, because I don't think it's going to give them more subscribers. Someone in that company just wants to put cool shit out. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, have you heard they're going down in subscribers and some shit?
I don't follow that stuff because who knows? Who cares?
Yeah, I don't really care either, but yeah. I'm just saying I read it.
Yeah. I think everyone should know, Josh, that we turn off our air conditionings so there's no background noise. But apparently you may have heard me drinking water at some points through the podcast, so I apologize.
What you're talking about.
Yeah. But let's continue on. On Hulu, there is The Last Word. I'm not going to go in detail on all these, but this one has Shirley MacLaine in it. I like her. Also, Amanda Seyfried. It's about a retired businesswoman who tries to control everything around her when she decides to write her own obituary. A young journalist, I assume that's what Amanda Seyfried plays, takes up the task of finding the truth, resulting in life-altering friendship. Cool. There's also something called Phoenix that I thought was interesting enough to talk about.
About some fucking bird.
Yeah, The Brink, Woman at War. Season 3 of Handmaid's Tale, which I really want to watch because I love Elizabeth Moss, and everyone that watches that show, that's one of those shows people watch just to tell you about this great show they watch. Kind of like what we do.
Interesting.
Have you not heard good things about that show? Okay, Get Better Friends.
I haven't heard anything.
Get Better Friends. And then I was like, notice Punch Drunk Love is on there, and I haven't watched that one in a while. Speaking of Paul Thomas Anderson, it's
Adam Sandler's.
Maybe Adam Sandler's best acting he's ever done. And I haven't seen that one in a while, so I want to check that one out. I've already mentioned that Amazon Prime currently has Under the Silver Lake. There's also the Thurgood Marshall documentary docufilm called Marshall. And then Harold and Maude. Have you ever seen that movie, Josh?
No, it sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's
super old
70s classic. One of the most interesting like friendship love stories that I've ever seen. One of my all-time favorites. So if you're looking for something weird, something, you're looking for something new that you haven't seen, check that one out. Highly recommended by me.
Yeah. Okay.
HBO has a new series called Hackerville, as well as Victor Crowley, American Nightmares. These are 2 horror films. Thoroughbreds, which I really liked, was one of the best movies from last year. Highly recommended. And then Bohemian Rhapsody, a film that I think sucks, and
Bohemian Rhapsody.
You probably shouldn't watch, is also available. Some of you will watch it anyway, so I'll just let you know. Over on Rental VOD, Best of Enemies, which is based on a true story and something Josh found interesting, we talked about in a previous podcast, is available to rent on disc or on demand, as well as Little, which I think Josh said was kind of mediocre, right?
Little.
That's
yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Agreed.
Pet Sematary, Alita Battle Angel. We both seen one of these movies each, and they're kind of okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. I would say they're kind of worth watching if you're interested in that type of movie. Yeah. No, not a big fan of The Cemetery. Shazam, which I really dug.
Shazam?
Yeah, Shazam is out on Rental VOD. The action.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought you didn't know what it was for a second. I was like, what? There's also a new Critters movie, Critters Attacks.
I think that looks fucking horrible, but that's expected.
Yeah. But Critters is part of my childhood, man. All those little creepy horror movies with the little creatures.
Yeah, but I like Tremors, and they fucking shit upon Tremors as Tremors developed. Remember how good Tremors was in the first 2 movies? Oh,
yeah. Then there's 7 Tremors. Yeah,
there's Ass Blaster Tremors. It's all fucked up.
Don't remember that one. Also, the animated film Missing Link, the new Hellboy movie. So I was talking about how I want to see that. And then this one's a VOD and very limited theatrical release. And I wanted to bring this one up and highlight it because of the director, Lynn Shelton, who did a film that we loved, You Were Never Really Here. I think that was one of our combined favorite movies of the year.
Fire.
Has this film, Sword of Trust, and it stars Mark Maron, who I don't know if you're a fan of, but I really dig Mark Maron. He plays Mel, a pawn shop owner in Alabama who spends most of his time swindling customers while trying and failing to get his man-child employee, played by John Bass, to do any work. So
was
like
Mark Maron in Blue Ruin?
No, you're thinking of Macon Blair.
Macon Blair.
Yeah.
Mark Maron.
Mark Maron does the WTF podcast. He's a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, he's a comedian. That's okay.
And so it has him in it. It also has Jillian Bell from Workaholics fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just an interesting movie considering, who's involved and something that's brand new. And I'm actually debating tonight if I want to rent it for $6 or if I want to just buy it for $15.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I did that with You're Never Really There, and actually every time I've done that, I've been really lucky.
Why?
I don't know. The other times I've done it was Mandy, and that was great, and then Brigsby Bear, which I also loved.
Well, then just do it, Brink. Just do it.
I think I'm going to. Also,
he's going to do it.
Yeah. Also, I'm stupid. It's
Peer pressure.
Lynn Shelton is a different director. Lynn Ramsey is the person that did You're Never Really Here. So I'm probably
you're just shitting some beds, huh?
Probably gonna edit that out. No one will know how stupid I am. And then finally in theaters right now we have Midsommar, which I really want to fucking see and I haven't seen yet. Crawl, you were talking about Sam Raimi earlier. Sam Raimi produced Gator Flick. That looks like a bunch of over-the-top ridiculous fun. And Lion King, which hopefully
Simba
bucks the trend of these Disney remakes being not so cool.
Or enjoyable.
Yep. We discussed this earlier. Are you ready to do our this could be our final segment? Are we going to do our TV show book club thing? Or you want to save that for next episode?
Dude, I don't have anything.
Fair enough. So we'll tease
what are we
it.
talking about? Wait a minute.
You
just brought it up all very sudden.
Yeah, we have these conversations throughout the week, and I remember them. So Josh gets frustrated with me, as many people do, that I will not watch TV shows or recommend me because I just don't commit to television shows. It's a lot more than just a 2-hour movie. So what we're going to do is we're going to, in the next episode, give each other a couple options. I think Josh has already said what option he's going to take. But we'll give each other 3 options of a show we have to start. And then each week, when we do the podcast, we will catch each other up on how we think of these shows. And, it's going to be brand new to one person. And the other person doesn't have to watch the show, but they can kind of reflect on, what they remember of those episodes. And I think that'll be fun.
Yeah, I really recommend you picking Dirk Gently out of the 3.
Look, man, you're pushing that Dirk. I get you.
I think it's necessary.
Mm-hmm. We'll see if I can find that one. If it's easy to find, we'll start with the one you want me to. All right, man.
One that I want.
We made it through. It's a late Friday night recording, which usually means we're punch drunk and hardly makes sense. But I think some people prefer those episodes. We did a good job. We're all caught up now. I feel good that we're caught up and we're putting a podcast out.
That's good. Well, good for us. Let's pat each other on the back. Pat, 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 pat.
All right. We'll see you next time, which will hopefully be in 7 days or less.
Dude.
Thanks for sticking with us. Love you. Goodbye.
Dude.
What?
Dude.
You still here? It's over. Go home. Go.